Godzilla 1954, the first and greatest Daikaiju movie ever made. Check the links below for the other parts of this review. In part 1, we sighted the giant monster on Odo Island. We met Dr. Yamane, the paleontologist. We realized the beast is not just a paradinosaur or a guy in a rubber suit, but a metaphor for American hubris and nuclear annihilation. Can anything destroy the beast? The American edit can. Alongside Takashi Shimura, whose gravitas overshadows everyone like a planet eclipsing the sun, there are 3 actors with varying degrees of acting prowess. We've met Emiko, his daughter. The young man she loves is Ogata, Akira Takanada, whom the studio was grooming to be a Cary Grant type. On set, he would introduce himself as the hero of the movie until someone corrected him, "Hey, Godzilla is the hero. Zilla killer." Emiko is betrothed, through Japanese tradition, to another young man, Dr. Serizawa, magnetic Akihiko Hirata, wearing an eye patch for maximum mad scientist. In the 2014 Godzilla reboot from Legendary Pictures, Ken Watanabe was named Serizawa as homage to this guy, the intense, tragic giant killer. Hirata would also be cast in the last 2 Showa Godzilla movies as various scientist characters. Also, flashbacks of his scenes here would be shown in the last Heisei movie, Godzilla vs. Destroyer. Here's another pioneering side note. Godzilla might be the first movie to feature a character with an eye patch. When Emiko visits Serizawa to confess her love for the vanilla Ogata, she doesn't get the chance, as Serizawa confesses first about his secret weapon that can kill Godzilla. He won't reveal it to the authorities because politicians won't stand by idly. They'll inevitably turn it into a weapon. A-bombs against A-bombs, H-bombs against H-bombs. A dig at the arms race and power for the sake of power. Message coming in America. America say, la 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 la. Serizawa calls his weapon, wait for the orchestra stabs, the Oxygen Destroyer. And he only gets away with this name because he's wearing a lab coat and a street cred eye patch. It splits oxygen atoms into fluid, turning his fish into skeletons. Man, the oxygen atoms are already making a fluid combined with 2 molecules of hydrogen, hence H2O. If you turn them into further fluid, you'll just have bigger water.
Big water, big water, big water.
In reality, if you remove oxygen from water, you'll just be left with the gas hydrogen,
which will just make your voice sound like Poppy the Cucumber.
It won't liquefy flesh. You're thinking of hydrochloric acid, Walter White. When Serizawa is begged to use his weapon later, he stoically proclaims, "I'd gladly give my life for it and destroy the formula should anyone force me to use it." And note again the primacy of science in this movie. When the scientist, Serizawa, grapples with Ogata, the leading man, the scientist wins. In the 50s to the 90s, in American cinema, scientists were always regarded as dweebs and treated accordingly. Only in the last decade has science made the resurgence back to the leading stars. Think Tony Stark, Interstellar, Dr. Bruce Banner, Professor X, Gravity, Arrival, Breaking Bad, Alan Turing, Stephen Hawking. True to form, the American edit of this movie usurps all gravitas from the scientists, and all these characters become trite. with Serizawa's upcoming sacrifice hardly registering as noble, as the focus is skewed away from the human drama and onto another big, dumb, lumbering beast. Raymond Burr. You know, I've mentioned the American edit a few times now. I think it's time to hold our noses and discuss it.
And just as Godzilla stomped on Tokyo, Hollywood stomps on Godzilla.
Trying to fix something that ain't broke and breaking it.
Dog poop! Godzilla, King of the Monsters, is supposedly just an Americanized version of the movie Godzilla. But no way were American movie makers going to retain all that blame from the original for irradiating Japan with WMDs. Thus, the cautionary tale of nuclear abuse is turned into a B-monster movie with an American big dick swinging. After Godzilla became one of the top-grossing films of 1954 in Japan, a sequel was rushed out in 1955 by Toho Company, Godzilla Raids Again. But that movie would not see an Americanized release until 1959. I'll visit that movie in greater detail in my video covering the Showa series. So the first sighting of Godzilla on US shores is in 1956 with this first Godzilla movie, re-edited by American studio Jewel Enterprises, who first dumbed it down to dog shit without permission. Director-writer Ishiro Honda's and writer Takeo Murata's work is raped by US director Terry Morse and US writer Al Ward, who carved the original masterpiece like Ugandan dictator Idi Amin dismembering his victims and reattaching their legs where their arms should be, surgically excising all references to America's H-bomb, Nagasaki, or the political fallout of WMDs. The winners rewrite history again. Raymond Burr, who would soon make his bones as Perry Mason in Ironside, is brought in as the focal point. A chain-smoking reporter named Steve Martin. Yeah, before Steve Martin was a power phrase. This wild and crazy guy is in Japan, visiting his friend Serizawa. Oh man, don't bring these good Japanese actors into it. But in reality, he's what exposition would look like if it was turned into a big fat doughy guy and conveyed through action phone conversations. The flow of the original tale is disrupted into a non-chronological narrative seen through Martin's big round eyes, and all the integral characters are devolved to two-dimensional. Because America big dick coming through. And the worst insult of all, the translator for the big dumb American isn't even translating what the Japanese characters are saying. He's translating to comply with the reworked storyline of the US version. Dirty, rotten, scoundrels. Steve Martin proceeds to take up all the oxygen in every room. In this movie, he's the oxygen destroyer. Pretending he's in every scene through the cunning use of bad cutaways, with irritating melodramatic narration of being trapped in Tokyo as Godzilla tears it apart. Who are they trying to fool? The film stock for the inserted scenes is not as crisp as the original black and white stock. And the shots where we see the backs of people's heads, supposedly the original film's actors talking to Steve Martin, are jarringly mismatched. Those original actors still hash out the oxygen destroyer climax. Martin does nothing. The jerk. He's not the hero or nemesis. He is the observer. But that's what we are, the audience. Ultimately, why is Steve Martin here? Can opener. Raymond Burr was the can opener that made Godzilla marketable in the States. Using American actors was a common practice when the US imported and remade foreign films. Godzilla historian David Callett tells us of this old Hollywood term that nowadays appears to be obsolete, because now it's called whitewashing. Modern examples: Naomi Watts in place of Nanako Matsushima in The Ring, Nicolas Cage in place of Pawalet Mongkolpasit in Bangkok Dangerous, or Josh Brolin in place of Min-sik Choi in Oldboy. Most modern can-opener films generally keep the story intact, but they are actual remakes. None of them try to insert the star's scenes into the original foreign productions and sell it as authentic, like this hatchet job. It's intentional, not accidental. It's murder, not manslaughter. It's racist, provincial, and politically gutless. And whitey producers had to go that extra mile to emasculate the Japanese stars. Just listen to what they did to the somber, educated paleontologist Yamane, dubbing him with Droopy's voice. In the scene where Yamane shows the dinosaur slides, he still gives the laughable date as 2 million years ago.
It can safely be assumed that 2 million years ago,
And he says Godzilla
was resurrected due to the repeated experiments of H-bombs.
Then they had insult to injury when Yamane pronounces Brontosaurus as Bondosaurus.
This Brontosaurus,
And then some rare phenomenon of nature.
some rare phenomenon of nature,
That's how much 1956 America disrespected the Japanese. Remember, this is just a decade after World War II and Japanese internment camps in California. The stench of jingoism was so commonplace, it could be flaunted on screen unquestioned. And yet, King of the Monsters is a work of maximum effort. Burr took it all very seriously, and much care was taken to marry his scenes with the original movie's footage. And they did fool the audiences of the day. They've got to dress the new sets like the original sets, have extras behaving like they're on the real set, sightlines, lighting, camera angles, new dialogue. It's a phenomenon achievement. It was the deep fake of its day. And David Callett, in his stellar commentary on the Criterion DVD, goes to great lengths to laud the film, outlining the societal trends that made its butchering the respectable, desired method by which all foreign films were digested in America. He allows us to appreciate the film for the entertainment it was intended to be, rather than the insult it has become in retrospect. Still, where can I sign up to beat the shit out of these venal swine? Oh.
The wrath of the gods.
Like all great horror directors, Honda doesn't show the creature in the first act, rather shows the aftermath of its rage and power, then gives us only glimpses in the second act. Now, the time has come. The creature rises from Tokyo Bay in full death rapture, 165 feet tall, humanoid posture, clawed arms and feet, triple spiked backbone, scarred black flesh, roaring like a banshee, stegosaurian tail, shark dead eyes, gargling, gaseous discharge. It is the embodiment of mankind's sin and nature's confutatus maledictus. It is Godzilla. What? Lunch? Oh man, I'm starving. Yeah. I don't know why I feel like sushi. Hey Movie Maniacs, subscribe so you don't miss Godzilla Part 3, where we'll meet the Daikaiju that started it all. We'll smoke Tokyo and destroy some oxygen, and horror will transform into the death of innocence. You're always welcome to become a supporter of my channel with Patreon, or contribute to feeding the beast with PayPal or Venmo. Go roaring around my social media and like, comment, share. See you back here as the beast rises.